Hi and welcome. We're back. The Cat Erna Show is here for you. My name is Erna and this is
Cat.
And today we're going to talk about borderline personality disorder and how it affects your life. And for that, we are talking to Nina, who has personal experience with that. Hi, Nina. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Great.
You're great. Good. And Nina, firstly,
Yes.
I need to know, how old are you?
In September, I will be 21.
You will be 21. And when did you learn that you have, can I say BPD? It's much easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, true. Okay, sorry.
Last year, I think in April 2021, I learned, well, I got diagnosed with it, but the whole process of it started in like September 2022 or like 2020, I mean.
Yeah. Okay. And,
So
and
like
what made you
COVID or peak COVID, but lockdown and
yeah, like during lockdown in the summer, I guess it all kind of started. And then I like reached out to my doctor and everything, but the confirmation and the diagnosis were made in April 2021.
Wow. What made you believe? Did you have a feeling that you had BPD, or did you just have a feeling that something wasn't the way it should be, or what made you see your doctor?
Well, I guess I always kind of knew that there was something that just made my mind work differently than just, normal kids of my age. Like I have struggled with a lot of things from a very young age. So I guess I kind of always knew that there was something like not wrong, but just not
different.
Yeah, different, like kind of off.
Yeah.
And at first I didn't really know anything about it or much about it. And then in that summer of 2020, I read about it or I heard about it on social media. And since I am like I'm one of those people who, if they read something about like psychology, I just get very interested in that. So I read this, I started reading a lot of information on it, and I came across this like report. It wasn't like a WebMD self-diagnose website. It was an official like report from this doctor that worked at a university or like it was a thesis or something. At least it was like a legit actual report with like legit information about it. Like everything was real and not, as I said, like one of those self-diagnoses.
The bull crap that
yes,
you can find everywhere on the internet.
So it was like an official report, and I read it, and a lot of it just kind of clicked for me in a certain way. I was like, this all sounds very, very personal to me. I was like, this sounds very familiar. So I just started doing more research on it, and more things started to make a lot of sense, and a lot of things were just being, it just explained a lot, and it made a lot of sense as to certain things that were happening like inside my mind and my behavior that I wasn't really able to control or explain before. And I was already not doing very well that whole year. So when I discovered that, that's when I kind of reached out to my doctor, because I was like, this is a very good possibility, and it's a very serious thing. And if it's, I just wanted to know if that was like, if BPD, if that was in fact what I had. Because for me, if I know a lot of people, like my parents, are not big on putting labels on everything. But for me, it's like once I identify a problem or something, it's easier for me to solve problem or do something about it or work with it. So I just wanted to identify the problem so that I could like possibly make things easier for myself.
And that does make sense, because if you feel that there's something wrong with you, because it's a feeling, you just feel it, and you need to know what it is so that you can fix it, or maybe just make it a bit better.
Yes.
Or else you'll just be wandering around thinking, what can I do, and feel frustrated because nothing's changing. I guess
we lost you.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Am I back already?
No, you're not
No,
back yet.
we can't see you. But we can hear you. It's fine.
Wait, I have to.
There you go.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, let's just mention that you are in South Korea, so it's a long way from home, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, and I had to switch from my Wi-Fi to my data and back, because sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't work very well.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was brewing for some time already in your mind, right? Before you went to the doctor.
Yes.
And when you went to the doctor, what is it, a male or female?
A male.
Like my
Nina, when you went to your doctor, is it a male or a female?
Well, my general practitioner, like my doctor, he's a male, but the person that I got sent to at the like practice was a female.
Okay, it's just, what did your general doctor say when you mentioned it? Was he like, okay, I can send you forward but I don't really believe it, or?
Well, I don't, because I don't think, I don't really remember quite well, but I do know, like, I hadn't been with that doctor for a very long time, because I had first I had a different doctor and then I switched doctor. So I think he didn't really know me very well. Like, I didn't think he knew me well enough to be like, I think you're fine. So I think he just listened to what I had to say and what I wanted, and was like, all right, I can send you forward. If it's something, then we can go from there. If it's nothing, then
great,
whatever.
Great.
Yeah.
Then you were lucky, because a lot of people go to the doctor and they're like, well, everyone feels like that once in a while. Well, I feel like that as well. It's probably nothing. So you were lucky in that way, in that sense.
I think I was.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you went to a psychiatrist, or?
Well, with the female doctor that I saw, I had first this whole intake with her to check like if it is indeed normal, the things that I experienced, or if it was concerning enough to prescribe or forward me, to like a psychiatrist.
Okay.
And so I went over everything with her, and then she gave me a list, because private psychiatrists were like, the waiting lists were really long, and there were because of COVID, everything was busy and full and everything. So she gave me a list of these institutions, like these mental health institutions. They're like just public institutions that a lot of people go to and get tested and everything. So I contacted one of those, made an appointment for an intake. I got this questionnaire that I had to fill out, and I had via phone call my intake appointment. And it was quite interesting, because I had done the questionnaire before, and then during the intake I had to do the questionnaire again. And then at the end, they like we did the questionnaire together, and then they like told me that they would call me back within an hour. And then, we hung up. I waited an hour. They called me back and they basically told me that my problems were too much and too severe for them to help me because they only treat depression and anxiety.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes.
And then I'm
And
thinking, why were you sent to them if their focus is depression and anxiety?
That's also what I did not really understand. Don't know why, because actually a friend of mine literally experienced the exact same thing at the same institution like 2 weeks ago. So I don't really know why they send people there still. But after they told me that, they sent a report, like the full report of everything in the questionnaire and everything that their psychiatrist suspected and that I should be checked for. They sent that to my doctor, and then my doctor forwarded it to this other institution that's specifies in personality disorders more than just depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
But that's like sort of everything. It's BPD, it's ADHD, bipolar as well.
Well, it's more like they do everything. Like
okay.
So from severe personality disorders like BPD and bipolar to like depression, anxiety to ADHD, ADD to eating disorders, they do like everything.
Okay.
But they are more specified in treating the like specific personality disorders.
Yeah. Okay. And this was in the Netherlands, I think we should say, because if someone's watching and thinking,
where?
I wonder if I have BPD, so how's the process?
This was in the Netherlands. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, Now then, like, I think my mom talked to my doctor about like the report, and they actually sent it to us, and I read it, and it was there was an entire list of possible personality disorders that I could have, and then I kind of did understand why they said that they couldn't help me because it was too severe, because there were like 10 of the worst personality disorders you can have on that list. So it kind of like scared my doctor too, or like concerned him in the sense that he was like, yeah, I will definitely forward you to this like bigger institution now.
Yeah.
But did this also give you the chance to be helped like sooner than you would actually have been helped?
No, not at all. Because this was all still in like September, maybe beginning of October. And then I had to make an intake appointment with the other institution. And they like that would be face to face because of like the severity of my problems. That was going to be face to face. And so the phone call for that was in like beginning of October. I had my appointment with them at the end of February.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
unbelievable,
it took a really long time.
Yeah. And then you just wait.
Yeah, you just have to wait.
Yeah. And then what in February?
In February, then I went there and I had this lady, this woman that I talked to. She was actually not like, she wasn't much older than me. I think she was like mid-20s. She was still a student. She wasn't like one of the official psychiatrists or doctors there. She was like kind of an in-between. So first they sent you to this like in-between level of
Twilight Zone.
People, to kind of like do the intake, to kind of feel just the situation out, to check everything, see like the severity of things. And with her, she was very nice. I really liked talking to her. She was very like, she took everything that I said very serious, and she really wanted to help me. And then we came up with, or then like after 1 or 2 sessions, we discussed that I was in fact should probably be tested for several things. And she's like, is there anything specific that you think you should be tested for? And I like told her, in this report, I had this and this and this. Personally, I, you know, read a lot about this. I did a lot of research on this. And I feel like BPD is something that I could definitely have. So I would very much like to specifically be tested on that, and also ADHD, probably.
Quick question.
So then, yeah.
When you had the list with the 10 potential diagnoses or disorders, did you go
Yes.
through each one of them to just see the symptoms, to feel if any of them could relate to you more or less than BPD?
I did.
Yeah, good.
I did. I did, and it was like, I knew most of those things already. Like, no, most of the symptoms of the other things that were on there. Some I didn't know, but I didn't really relate to on a level that I could be like, this is very much sounds like my life. So yeah, I did go through all of it. And because like sometimes certain things, like certain symptoms overlap of some personality disorders.
Yeah.
Sometimes symptoms overlap and you don't really know like which one it could be. So often that's why there are also a lot of misdiagnoses made in people a lot of the times.
Yeah.
For example, like BPD, for one, is already one of the most misdiagnosed personality disorders out there. But yeah, so I did like tell her this, like I didn't know for sure because I don't want to self-diagnose. I don't want to just assume things that aren't true. But I did tell her like this, I have my suspicions. I would just like to either know that I don't have this, or to know that this is in fact my problem. And then it would take like a couple of weeks before I would be able to do the test. So until I would have the test, she and I made, like, she helped me come up with this crisis plan. So essentially it was just a plan for what I could do and how I could recognize certain stages of how I'm feeling. So there were like 4 stages, and then the first one was just feeling happy, feeling normal. The second one was just like, it's just the stages become more like gradually build up to
building
crisis.
up. Yeah.
So she and I made like an entire plan for that. And then I had the test, I was tested, and I got the result. And then after I got the result, and it was in fact like, I think I scored like 80% or like 85% on having it. So after that, I got like sent to the actual therapists and psychiatrists.
So what did the therapy consist of? Did you have like, because with BPD you have like three kinds of therapies, like group, one-on-one, and phone therapy, right?
Phone therapy?
Yeah, phone, like that you have sort of one-on-one sessions on the phone, or maybe that you can
no,
ask
like,
if you're in the crisis, that you can call someone, like a buddy system, or
no, we didn't really have that. It was more, there are different types of therapy that they, at that institution, they had several types of therapy that they could do for people who are diagnosed with BPD. I don't exactly remember what every type of therapy
No, that's not
was that they
necessary.
had.
No.
But I know for me, I got put in group therapy and like one-on-one therapy.
Did you feel that helped?
No,
No. Were you medicated as well?
I was not.
You was not.
I don't have because I don't want to like get the medication for this because I'm kind of scared of antidepressants and like those kind of medication because I know sometimes it takes a while before you find the right one and it can have side effects.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound really superficial, but like the side effects can like affect just your looks and like they could be terrible for your skin or you could gain a lot of weight and I don't want that. So like I'm scared that those are gonna like that's gonna be the side effect on my body because I don't react well to medicine at all. So I'm scared
So
that
you would
it's gonna
rather
have
learn how to cope
yes.
the best way you can, because
Yeah.
in the end you can't just eliminate it, but you can learn how to recognize the signals or whatever. I don't
Exactly.
know. Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
So Nina, isn't it, I don't know a lot about BPD, but isn't it so that there are different types of BPD?
Well, it's generally BPD is just one like personality disorder. It's one thing, but for everyone, it's like everyone experiences the whole, like overall, differently.
So what is it like for you?
For
Say at the
me,
moment, how does it affect your life?
the way that it affects my life, for me, it's I have a lot of difficulty just dealing with my emotions because I feel every single emotion that I have and either like I feel everything at like 200%.
Yeah, I was just going to say if you were to rate your emotions on a scale from 1 to 10, what would be your rate? Do you call it like that?
A lot of the times it's really like around the top. Like I don't think it goes lower than 8. For me it's I either don't feel I'm either at 0 or at like 8 to 10.
Okay.
Yeah. That must be
either
exhausting.
You're happy or you're not. You're sad or you're not. Or
well, it's like for me with like when I feel first of all, I struggle feeling happiness a lot of the time. That's one of the emotions I probably am constantly at a very low rate. I think happiness wise, I generally don't really, if you rate it from 0 to 10, with happiness, I don't think I really experience it above like a 4. So, but for example, with sadness, it's like I don't just get sad. When I'm either just don't feel sadness or I feel sadness to the point where I just don't see any good anymore.
Yeah.
I don't like get sad. I immediately get like really depressed.
Yeah. So there's no in between.
There's no in between for me, but that's like for me. I don't know what that's like for other people, but for me, there is no in between. I'm always on like either side.
Yeah. That must be tough.
It's very exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must feel tired a lot.
I
So
do.
how about sleep? Do you get like enough sleep to compensate, or
No, because I also have problems with sleeping. I've always had that since I was a child. So I don't know. I've always had like very bad insomnia and everything. And then it turned out that I also have ADHD.
yeah.
So that's also a very lovely combination. But for sleep, like I have my medication now for sleep, but I was off, like I didn't have access to my medication for a couple of months. So the last couple of months, my sleep has been very terrible. And now I slowly have to like build up to the point where I can actually fall asleep again at a normal time.
Yeah.
So you do see the difference now, like really, how do you say that?
Yeah, when you weren't medicated for your
Exactly.
insomnia, and now when you're
Mm.
out, you might feel a bit more energetic, or not energetic, but that you have more energy during the day than when you didn't have the sleep, or perhaps
Well,
your
it's like
coping mechanisms.
I've only had it now for like a week maybe. So I have to
Okay.
I have to build it up again.
Yeah.
It has to like last when I started with it, it also took like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before it actually worked for my sleeping.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that it'll come back. The fact that I feel more energized and everything, but like for now, it's still like in between and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about friendships? And you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but how do you feel when you are in friendships? Do you feel that it's easy or difficult, or is it so that they can feel that something's different with you, or do they know you have BPD? That's a lot of questions, but I'm just curious about how it feels
How it
to have
works.
friendships.
I, for starters, am not really good at making friends. I've never really been good at making friends. I don't know. That's just like I am quite introverted as a person, but I do try to connect with people and make friendships with people. And yeah, it more times doesn't work than that it actually works.
Okay.
So I find friendships very difficult to get. When I do have friends, I often don't befriend the right people because like it's not that they're genuinely terrible people that do a lot of bad things, like just morally they're not like horrendous people. They're it's just
They're
that
normal
they
people, but
yes, they just don't treat me the way I should be treated. But with friendships for me, I find it, but because I find it so hard to make friends and to find like actual friends, and first of all, a lot of my difficulty to make friends also comes from the fact that I don't connect with people. I don't
like on a
feel
different level, you
connection.
mean?
Well, just like connection. Sometimes when you meet someone, you just either immediately have a connection or you build up a connection and you can just feel like that you have a really good friendship with them or another relationship. It doesn't really like any type of relationship. It's just with some people. Generally, people connect with other people. I don't have that. I don't really feel connections with a lot of people because I don't know. I don't even really know why. I just don't have that. It's probably like just maybe my fear of being disappointed and everything.
Yeah, then it's easier not to go into the friendship, perhaps.
Well, it's easier to like, I do really have the mindset that in the end, I am the only person that I can really rely on, because I've been just disappointed and kind of left behind so many times by a lot of people in my life that I feel like, I know what I don't want. I know what I am worth, and I know what I should have. And if people don't kind of meet those standards that I have for that, I don't feel a connection with them. Like I can interact with them, I can do things with them, I can be like superficial friends with them, and I don't like judge them or anything for it. I don't hold a prejudice over them for it. I just don't consider a friend, like I would just not consider my friendship with them to be that deep. Like that's the whole thing. So like I don't have a connection with anyone really in my life. So I don't know, that's why like friendships for me often I just, even though I know someone's treating me wrong, like I already don't have an actual deep connection with people, with just anyone in general. And then I also find it hard to make like superficial friends.
Yeah.
So I just am kind of scared, I guess, that even if I cut out certain people, that I will be completely alone. So I take a lot of
Bullshit.
that.
From
Yes.
people.
I take a lot of bullshit from people.
Yeah.
And it's like, I am quite tolerant. I am. Like, I will get really annoyed. Like, I get annoyed easily and I get angry easily, but I don't show it to other people. Like, I will complain about you in my head and like probably to my mother, but not for like other people. But I won't actually like cut
Act upon
you.
that.
Yes, unless it gets like really, really bad. Because when someone, it's like this, if someone kind of inconveniences me, like my life, or just annoys me, that I am like their behavior is quite toxic, but it's not in the sense of that they actually really, really hurt me to the point where it's going to scar me. If you're like that, I will just probably tolerate your bullshit. If it gets to the point where I am actually legitimately really hurt by the way you treat me, then I will just cut you out of my life without any remorse.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what friendships are like for me.
Yeah. Wow. Do they know you have BPD? Do you tell people?
Well, when the like conversation comes up, I am not particularly like, I don't keep it a secret from people. Like, I'm not gonna just go out telling everyone like I have BPD, look at me, like I have BPD. I don't do that. If I think, for example, like I used to have a friend, she like I knew her for like 18 years. I was friends with her for like 18 years. I'm not friends with her anymore now, but she like kind of knew me in those times where I had it really hard. And I was like, at those times, she was my best friend. So obviously, like I told her everything about the process, and I told her about the diagnosis and everything. And sometimes I just like casually mention it to people. Like I don't get too deep into it, you know. If sometimes I'm just like, yeah, if we are talking about things, and I'm like, and it gets to like those topics of mental health and everything, and just how difficult things can be and whatever, and then I'll, for example, be like, yeah, I actually have BPD, so I can tell from personal experiences, and this is hard and whatever. just
No.
but now I have one friend here in Seoul who I am pretty close with in a certain sense, and like she knows probably, I think, better than anyone else. She's probably like the only person that I explain things to in a deeper sense. So when it comes to telling other people, 9 out of 10 times I just either don't mention it or I casually mention it, but I don't go very deeply into it. And yeah, you just have to be really special to me to actually explain how I
How it
perceive
works, yeah.
things in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also they have to get to know you for you and not for the BPD.
Yes,
Because you are
exactly.
not the BPD, you are you, and you have this diagnosis or this disorder that makes things difficult for you, but you're still
Yes, exactly.
you. Yeah.
And, so that's also why with most people I casually mention it when it comes up, but to, for example, my best friend here now, I spend a lot of time with her. So she sees a lot of my behavior more than anyone else here. And sometimes I have things that I just don't really have under control. I have things that I do or say or how I feel or how I come across that might not be entirely my intention, or that I can't really control or whatever. And then I just explain to her, like, yeah, for me, I just experience things like this and this and this, and that's why I do that and that and that.
Yeah. And I think that's
So,
important
yeah,
so that they can try to understand what's going on. So,
exactly.
yeah. Wow.
But generally, I don't really talk to anyone about how I really feel about a lot of things.
But
Like,
when you speak about BPD, do people I don't think they can just one-off understand what you're talking about, but do they have like a judgment? Oh, you're borderline, so you are abusive, or you have, I don't know.
You're telling lies.
Exactly.
We have the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
most people that I talk to don't even know what it is.
No.
Because like everyone knows bipolar disorder, everyone knows kind of schizophrenia, everyone knows like depression, anxiety, or eating disorder. Those kind of things are more talked about and are very common, and you can like just on the surface you'll probably come across that sooner than borderline personality disorder. So anyone that I talk to about it doesn't even really know what it is.
Yeah. But May, well, this will be aired in June 2nd to the 3rd of June. But May was Borderline Awareness Month, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and we didn't know.
Yeah.
The thing is, I didn't even know.
No. And you don't unless you see a post somewhere or an article or something.
Yes, until I really started like digging deep, because what I do, I just like to educate myself on those kind of things, on every sort of mental health issue, because I just find that interesting. And I was going through the things on BPD, and like I had to search pretty well. Like I was scrolling through social media a long time, reading a lot of things before I actually came across the post that said that it's like BPD Awareness Month in May. And I have BPD, and I have been struggling with it for a while, and I didn't know that. So that just shows how few the world actually, like how unaware the world actually is of what PPD actually is like and what it all contains and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking two things. First,
Mm.
is it mostly women who has BPD?
No, it's,
No.
well, I think there is like a comparison. I'm not sure, but I think it is more common amongst women.
Yeah, because I haven't
I'm
heard
not
of any men.
entirely sure. Like, I also, when I had my group therapy, we were not a very big group, but the ratio was like 9 women, like 9 out of 10
Yeah.
women, 1 man. Like
Yeah.
there was 1 male in our group.
Okay.
But can it be because women are more open, maybe, or more willing to work on that
Yeah.
than men?
I feel like, wait, I had a statistic here somewhere. It's like you are more likely to be diagnosed if you are a woman, or if you're a woman. Yes, I think if you are a male, it could indeed be that they don't reach out that easily and to actually like
Yeah.
see what's wrong with them. Or maybe with men, I don't know, it could be that doctors like to kind of push it away and just blame it on other things.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like, but I think it is in fact that more, if you are a woman, you are more likely to be diagnosed with BPD if you are a woman.
And you're more likely to go to see a doctor if you have any issue of concern as a woman. And men rarely do that unless they have a spouse pushing them to go see a doctor in general.
Exactly, because also the guy that was in my group, he was there mostly because he had a lot of problems also with his family and with his wife. And every time there were a lot of problems between him and his wife. And that's one of the main reasons I think why he was there, because of like the problems that were present in his marriage and in his home life. But I'm not sure, like maybe he would have because I didn't know him very well, but it could in fact be that the biggest reason why he was there was because it was creating problems with his family. So not necessarily out of the intention to help himself, but more to better himself in his family and home life.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I'm also thinking, because even if it's ADHD or bipolar or borderline or whatever it is, that many, and especially women, the surroundings or themselves has a tendency to think it's just me. It's just because I'm a woman. I'm just hysterical.
Yeah.
I'm just exhausted because of whatever, or I just don't fit in, or because women are still being looked at as if, for instance, they have to deal with everything in the household. Not everything, but the majority of things they have to take care of. Or if they have a fit, it's just because they're hysteric. But it could be that there's an underlying issue, and they just don't go see a doctor for it because that's just how it is. Yeah. That's sad.
Yeah,
it is.
Good thing you found out that early, Nina.
Yes, it's.
Yeah, because do you think it is different for you finding out this early than if you were, say, older, like towards your 30s?
Probably, but also, I don't know. It's probably like it's probably gonna come off as a little shocking for a lot of people for me to say this, but I don't think that maybe I would like have survived it that long, in the sense of maybe I would have been more likely to just not make it to that age.
Yeah.
If I hadn't known sooner, I guess. But the thing is, like, especially, it's really hard to make this diagnosis in teenagers because you're still developing. I think I read somewhere that a lot of the diagnosis for this can like better be made around like 19, 20 and upwards.
Yeah.
So when you're already more likely to be more developed, like your brain and everything.
Yeah.
So
You're not
because
just
it gets
acting out.
yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So I think for me, I did, like, if you compare it to that, I did get diagnosed with it quite early. Because I was 19, I was about to turn 20. And I think it did help me.
Do you still use the tools that they gave you?
Not really, because I didn't find the tools that I got very helpful.
Yeah.
The tools that I got, I feel like, are things that, you know, everyone does when they feel a little angry or a little like upset or whatever. Like for me, the tools that I got, an entire handbook, I got an entire like plan and everything, but none of those things in the end, if I am like in a crisis, I don't think back to like reaching out for those things.
Yeah.
I don't and like, it probably helps for other people, you know, it probably really helps other people with BPD, but personally for me, it didn't make like an impact on me in the sense that I actually remember that I have those tools when I am like in a crisis. So I don't.
It could maybe also be the difference because either you are in a crisis like this or the crisis builds up.
Yeah, when I feel like when I feel it coming, when it's building up, then I do certain things that, you know, could potentially prevent it. But those are like my own things that I do myself, that I figured out myself. Those are not the tools that I got from my therapy. And besides that, a lot of the times the crisis comes out of nowhere. It doesn't build up. It's just there out of it, like it just comes.
Yeah.
It's just like out of nowhere. It's just all of a sudden it's there.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? That with BPD, it's there. And for me, for instance, I would know that it was coming. And you probably know as well, but the feeling of the crisis is immediate.
Well, it's like for me, I don't even know, because like I said, I feel everything either at 0 or at 100.
Yeah.
So until it's like very prominent and until it's there at 100 in my, like, I don't perceive it as me like being in a crisis or me building up to a crisis. Because I remember we had to, for the stages, for example, we had like 4 stages that we had to make or like just identify in this plan. And I genuinely, for the life of me, could not think of how to identify the like 2 in between stages. Like 1 would be just normal, happy, nothing really is going on. And then crisis. Those were the only 2 stages that I really could identify. I genuinely did not know what to put in those in between stages because I don't experience those. So that's like what it's like for me. So
Yeah.
preventing it is kind of hard for me.
Yeah. Must be. Wow, Nina. Whew.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It must be tough.
Yeah.
This is one of our most serious topics, I think, that we're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to bring awareness that this is in fact real and happening to people. Huh?
Mm.
Yeah. And I think it's good to also spread awareness, because a lot of people, it's like I said, not a lot of people know anything about it
Mm.
except for the bad things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
once
The
they
Amber
hear it,
Heard, the Amber Heard things.
the Amber Heard things,
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
immediately assume that everyone that has BPD or is diagnosed with BPD is like that,
Mm.
which is not the case.
No.
And people reacting that way and like judging you on it and kind of discriminating you on it, it's just unfair, and it's so not true and so unjustified, because yes, like there are a lot of people that have borderline, or like not a lot, people that have borderline can in fact like become abusive in relationships. That is true. But
Yeah, but
anyone
so
can become
can
abusive. Anyone
so
with a
I can.
problem,
Yeah.
Mm.
anyone with a problem can become abusive in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like having BPD doesn't mean that you are a terrible person.
Mm.
And just it seems that people actually have to do like a certain amount of research to find that out. And that's not right. Because, it's actually better that the people that I talk to don't even know what it is than they do know what it is. Like, I've been lucky that the people that I told it to don't know what it is. Because if I tell it to someone that has heard of it, the only thing that they know about it is that it like somehow makes you a terrible person. And that's like, it can have a very serious impact on people.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with in romantic, like you're not good for romantic relationships, and having a romantic relationship with someone with borderline is bad, and it's not going to work out, and it's going to be abusive, and this and this and that. Honestly, to me, it almost makes me scared of actually falling in love with someone.
Yeah.
And that's just not right. And I think it's important to spread more awareness about those things.
Have you thought about having your own YouTube channel or doing it on TikTok or something to spread awareness?
I mean, I have thought about it, like doing it on social media, but I don't know, I'm not really sure yet. I'm not really like highly confident in front of like a bigger public audience.
I get that.
But I do want to definitely like spread awareness. I have been thinking about it, and I've been just sitting on the idea for a while, but I have to begin to actually do that. And not just for BPD, I want to do it for everything, because just everything, like the moment someone hears you have mental health issues, you're immediately portrayed, or people immediately perceive you as someone that, oh, they have issues. Let's like not form a deeper connection with them, because what if they're gonna like put it all on me, or things like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But I love the fact that you're here today and that you're doing this.
I think you're brave.
Really brave.
Yeah.
For sharing and and being so honest about how it really is for you.
Yeah. Well, it's like, a lot of it's difficult and I really don't share like anything of my personal life and anything of how it, like even now what I've told are just the general idea of how things are for me. But I don't talk to anyone about like the problems that I have and the like things that I like, the issues that I deal with and the things that are on my mind and everything, like those kind of things I don't share with anyone. Not really my friends. I wouldn't share it with a therapist or whatever because I feel like no one actually takes it seriously and it's just a waste of my time to try to explain to someone else my like deepest feelings only for them to not take it seriously. So I find it also hard to talk about my life and to share things in my life with people. So that's why like now everything that I told is just the general idea of what I like experience with it. And I'm sure that for everyone it's different. Like I don't even know if people with BPD experience the same things as I do.
Do you actually know in South Korea or anywhere other people that that experience BPD? Like, do you have
No.
how would you call that? Like
a community?
Yeah, or
well, I knew the people in my group.
Yeah, but you didn't
That's
have any connection with them, right?
No, because we were not allowed to. We were not allowed to have any connection with each other until you were actually out of the group.
And the
until
reason
you
for that?
Privacy
Okay.
reasons or something. I don't know. I never really understood it. None of us ever like truly understood it. I think one girl that I used to go to high school with, I am not sure. Like I haven't actually heard her say that she has it. So I don't want to assume that she just has it. But I know like at some point when I still followed her on Instagram, she posted like memes about BPD and like this the coping with self-humor, like like those kind of things about BPD or like information about it or posts of it. So I thought maybe she has it, but I'm not sure because also I like don't know her anymore. I'm not friends with her anymore. I don't follow her on social media anymore. So I'm really not sure. I just know from another friend that she had a lot of problems. And then later on, she started to post those things. So I kind of maybe assumed that she has it. If I know anyone like personally that has it, then it's her. For the rest, I don't know anyone. I just only see people online say it or like certain celebrities that have it, but I don't personally know anyone.
Yeah. That makes it lonely, huh?
I mean, it is lonely because I don't think anyone ever truly understands what you're going through.
No.
So it is pretty lonely, but I feel like a lot of people's lives are really lonely.
Yeah, you only see the surface.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
now we sit here just quite. I must say that even though you say you only talked about what it's generally like, then I just had a feeling how it must be. And not that I even come close to understanding or knowing or feeling it, but I still have this feeling that it must be really, really hard. And I'm sorry that you have to go through it, but it also sounds like you've done the things you need to do to understand and to learn how to cope with it, even though it's still difficult.
Yeah. Because like I know of myself that I am not easily motivated. I'm not easily like transformed or inspired or anything. For me, I really have to make a certain connection myself in my brain. I also can't like force to make that connection or like that switch. It really just needs to happen before like something has to click. So I am very aware of everything that I do and everything that I feel. I like have the need to kind of see everything like that I feel and be and like take a mental note of everything that I feel and everything that goes on in my head and everything. So I am very aware of everything that I do. I'm very aware of everything that I feel. I'm very like aware of everything to the point where that also kind of like works against me. I also think a lot about all these things, and I mostly try to help myself. And I find things, I like try to look for things or read about things, research things, anything that could make it easier for me.
Yeah.
So that's because it is hard and it is exhausting. Also, because like what I said about the happiness, I, for example, for me, another thing for me with like the BPD is that I generally wake up every day automatically not feeling good. I have to actually force my brain and like program my mind to not perceive everything as bad.
Yeah.
Like, so I have to think a lot. I have to, my mind is busy all day trying to, you know, see the better in things so that I can actually feel content or even the thing that comes closest to happiness for me. So that's like one of the things, like that's what it's like for me to experience borderline. For me, it's just, you know, like a constant depression is always there generally, and I have to make effort to feel good emotions.
Yeah.
So it gets really exhausting, and I don't know if other people have that. I think I can only like guess that probably a lot of like not a lot, but I didn't just guess that other people have that too. But not everyone like knows that. No one really can guess it, but it is one of the things that I deal with. And people often, like, I always got told, especially in high school, that my negativity and my depressive state was annoying. I always got told that I was annoying because I was like sad or depressed. And a lot of people made jokes out of my issues because they don't know that I actually have to make effort every single minute of the day to feel positive emotions.
Yeah.
And with spreading awareness just on these issues and spreading awareness like on that, bringing it to light that some people actually have to deal with that from a daily and don't feel those positive things naturally, you know, maybe people will understand it better then. So that's, I don't know, I just find it more like I find it important to spread awareness on those things.
It really is. It really, really is. And what you're saying right now is making me think of things that I need to do as well. So actually, if you're inspiring me, then I'm not the only one. So when people watch this, there might be a lot of people, or maybe just one. It doesn't really matter. But if you can just inspire one person to do something,
Exactly,
from your words and your thoughts, then wow.
Yeah.
So you can, in that way, you can make something good of it. If you can help other people, survive, or not even survive, but actually survive
Yeah.
by telling your story, then it's not for nothing. And I'm a teary person, so I'm about to cry, but I have people.
Well, I'm used to people like that around me. So
Yeah, but I'm always like this, Mila. So
well, my mother is too. So
yeah,
you don't have to feel alone in that.
no, I don't.
No,
I've learned to
I
accept it.
just, yeah, for me, I just don't really cry in front of people. Also, for example, when I when I got tested, when I had to tell my entire story like to the psychiatrist about this, she contacted like the girl that I was talking to before and was like, she tells this with such a straight face. Is she like, it almost looks rehearsed? And then Sophie, the girl that like my therapist at the institution before, was like, oh no, she just doesn't say anything with emotion. She really has these problems. Trust me, she just doesn't know how to show her emotions. So for me, when telling these kind of things, people are always surprised at how rehearsed and emotionless I tell them these things.
Yeah.
But it's just because I just don't show any of that to anyone ever.
Yeah. And I can understand why. Because you take good care of yourself, right? You just don't want anyone to see or know how it really is, or is it just because you just don't cry?
Well, no, like when I'm alone, I cry a lot. When I'm alone, I am a pretty like, because I'm sad all the time, I cry because I'm sad. I don't cry when I'm like happy or anything. That makes me uncomfortable. Just crying. Also, when other people around me cry because they're happy, I cannot deal with that. It's just those kind of things. When someone is overly emotional, it just makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But
and you know what? I've always felt the same way, but I couldn't stop the crying because I didn't want people to see me crying. But it happened anyway. So
no,
I have no problem showing that I'm crying.
No, but in a fight, for instance, if I am having a discussion or really want to stand my grounds and I get so frustrated, then I cry. And I don't want to cry in that situation because it's a sign of weakness in my mind. Yeah.
Well, I guess in fights for me, it's just that it depends who I'm fighting with and like how close I am to you. Because, for example, when I fight with my friends, I just get insanely angry at them. Because also with anger, like I do also kind of have like anger issues because of this. With anger, I feel rage, not just like normal anger. So I get really mean and like really hard and just, I am like a major bitch to people when I get really angry. But for example, when I fight with my mom, then I get so angry that I start crying out of pure frustration. But with like other people, I don't. Also, I have to take my medicine, so excuse me for a second.
Perfect. Wow, that's a big bottle of water.
Yeah, because otherwise I have to buy, like you can't drink water from the tap here. No. So if I have to buy like the small half-a-liter bottles, it's just too much waste because also trash here is very annoying to get rid of. So I would rather like deal with bigger packages and less things to throw away than like the small packages.
Yeah, indeed.
But yes.
Wow.
No, I also just don't cry because I don't want people to see. Like it's mixed with not showing people how, like what my true emotions are.
Yeah.
And that's also the same with friendships. Like, I kind of adapt my personality to the person that I'm spending time with.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever like actually truly shown my truest self to anyone because I just don't really do that. So that's it all comes from the same thing that I don't really want to show anyone what I actually feel. I also, for example, don't let other people listen to my music or my like things because especially with music, that's one of the things that's most important to me. Music, I listen to music a lot. It also helps a lot with my anxiety. I always walk around with my headphones in. I always listen to music, and I always listen to the same songs because I have like several playlists with the same like songs that I have several playlists that I listen to all the time, because those are playlists made out of songs that kind of reflect my emotions.
Yeah.
So I don't let other people listen to my music because I don't want them to like know truly like how I feel, because that's just very personal to me. And I like to keep that for me, because I also don't want to give people the opportunity to criticize it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. Huh?
It is.
I think we could go on and on, but maybe this is a good time to stop here.
Yeah.
Huge thank you, Nina,
Yeah.
for joining us and
Really.
shedding some light on this topic. It's
You're
very
welcome.
very brave.
I mean, I don't know if I said anything that's extremely helpful or extremely insightful about this topic, but at least this is my personal experience.
Yeah,
and
exactly. And if there is someone out there who hasn't begun their journey yet and listens to you and she went with her gut feeling, and if she can do it, I can do it. Or maybe, you never know, and it could feel like you could feel that you maybe hadn't,
yes.
but others might feel that you did. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter, but in the end, thank you, because it's a huge deal for you.
Yeah.
And for us.
Well,
Yeah, and
if I can help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can.
I mean, if I can help and if people actually find it helpful, then I'm more than happy to do it, because I don't feel like anyone ever really helped me with it. So
yeah,
exactly.
so if any of the viewers know someone or maybe themselves want some more information, can they reach you through us?
you mean if they want to contact me, that they contact?
Yeah, that
them?
they contact us so that we can maybe connect you, or
I mean, I guess.
Or they could
Sure.
just comment below, and then Nina could look at the questions if they have any,
Yeah,
and see if
exactly.
she wants to respond to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone has any questions ever, I'm happy to respond.
Okay.
Great.
Put them in the comments.
Yeah.
Then like,
subscribe,
and follow, and hit the bell.
Yes.
Right?
Right. Thank you, Nina.
Okay. Thanks, Nina. And see you all next week. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.